Welcome to France. Everything's either good or bad, depending on who you are. Either one, you can be part of the monarchy or nobility, living your life in luxury and having lavish parties without a care in the world, or two, the more likely option, being poor and starving, paying taxes without an end. This way of life is called the Ancien regime, where the kings and priests live fancily while everyone else suffer. In this regime, politics was heavily influenced by religion. Basically, VeggieTales let me do this, shut up and deal with it. Anyhow, during this time came the Age of Enlightenment, where thinkers like Rousseau, Voltaire, Montesquieu, and Roblox Gihon would question the Ancien regime. Hey, I have an idea. What if governments weren't decided by just the church, and everyone had rights? Wow, you're pretty enlightened. Also during this time, France was broke. They recently spent a lot of money fighting in the American Revolution. Also at the time, France was experiencing a major famine, making food scarce. In response to the problem, King Louis called the States General in May 1789. The States General was made up of three estates. The first estate was the clergy. They consisted of priests and bishops. They were 1% of the population and they paid no tax whatsoever. The second estate were the nobility, the rich and fancy people. They were 2% of the population and they paid also little to no tax. The third estate were everyone else, like the commoners. They paid all of the taxes and did all of the hard work but got none of the profits. They are 97% of the population. No matter the population, each estate would have one vote and they would help the king decide on different things like tax. However, this failed horribly. Here's how it worked. We, the third estate, vote yes on raising taxes against the first and second estate. We are the ones paying all the taxes, while you two are just living your lives happily. We, the first estate, vote no, because God said so. Don't check the Bible, just trust me. I also vote no. Okay, so we, the first and second estate, are 3% of the population. However, the third estate, which is 97% of the population, voted no. So even if the third estate is most of the nation's population, I keep saying that word, it's still two estates versus one. We win! We are not going to raise taxes on us, and we can call it a day. I'm going to get some cake, and I'm going to have a party later. Nom 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 nom. This is some good cake. This sucks! We're a starving 97% of the population, but we only get one vote, and every single time we're always outnumbered! This sucks. I'm leaving. I'm making my own government. So the members of the third estate left, renamed themselves as the National Assembly, went to a tennis ball court and created the Tennis Court Oath, promising not to disband until a new government and constitution was formed. I feel bad for anyone who wanted to play tennis that day. Meanwhile, tensions rose. King Louis's finance minister, Jacques Necker, who sided with the people, was fired. And then, thousands of troops started gathering around Paris. Something was wrong. The people started to wonder, was King Louis planning to crush the revolution before it even begun and return to absolute power? Whispers led to fear. Fear led to anger. And anger led to action. On July 14, 1789, an angry mob of Parisians would storm the Bastille, a prison symbolizing royal tyranny. They were in search for weapons to defend themselves against a possible crackdown. They were also kind of peaceful about it. They didn't do anything weird or inhumane or kill the leader. Nowadays, July 14th, aka Bastille Day, is the National Day of France, symbolizing the beginning of the French Revolution. Meanwhile, members of the National Assembly wrote the Declaration of the Rights of Man, which talked about equality and liberty to all. Men. Okay, men are born and remain free and equal in rights. Should I add woman? Nah, my hands are tired and that's like one extra word. Let's call it a day. However, the problem wasn't fully solved. Back in Paris, bread was still crazy expensive and people were still starving. Not only that, but King Louis and his wife Marie Antoinette still stayed in the luxurious Versailles Palace, a whole 20 kilometers away from Paris, where the people were. People believe that the reason why the king and queen didn't fix this yet was because they lived too far away to see the problem. And so on October 5th, an angry crowd of mostly women marched their way to Versailles in order to get the king and bring him to Paris, so he can be put in check and be closer with his people. So after breaking in Versailles and a teensy bit of violence, King Louis was sent to return to Paris with the crowd, becoming one with the people. After that, King Louis slowly lost his power for the past 2 years and frankly wanted to do something about it. Luckily for him, Queen Marie Antoinette was Austrian. So they planned on escaping France and going to the Austrian Netherlands to try and reclaim the monarchy from abroad. Wait, excuse me, aren't you King Louis? What? Of course not. No, no, no. In fact, I'm actually a chef some guy. Yeah, chef some guy. Alright, you're free to go. Alright, thanks a lot. Wait a minute! The king and queen were caught and sent back to Paris, now being seen as traitors of the revolution. Because of this, King Louis's power was limited even further, being demoted from monarch to constitutional monarch. This meant that he was no longer the leader of France, but a symbol, kind of like a mascot. Also, the National Assembly was now being influenced by multiple clubs, the most radical one being the Jacobins, led by Maximilien Robespierre. They wanted a full republic without the need for a king, a secular state, and no tolerance for enemies of the revolution. Matters outside France weren't too simple either, as tensions arose between France and its monarchical neighbors. You can't just treat your monarchy like this. Your revolutionary ideas might spread to us, and we might have a revolution of our own.
That's right! If you keep this up, we'll have to declare war!
You can't declare war on me. Because I'll declare war first. The War of the First Coalition had begun, with France declaring war on Austria, Britain, and Prussia. Whom I actually couldn't put here because I ran out of space. The war began pretty badly for France, and chaos and paranoia grew in Paris. The chaos was mainly because if France's enemies won, they would return King Louis back to the throne. Which made sense because he secretly communicated with Austria. Wait, he what? And so, he was put on trial for treason. Others wanted to just deport him, but radicals like the Jacobins wanted to kill him entirely. And so by just one vote, Louis XVI was executed by guillotine, ending over 1,000 years of monarchy. Robespierre and the Jacobin Club also now take full control of the National Assembly, declaring the nation no longer a monarchy but a republic. They also wanted to replace or remove anything related to the old regime. And so, they replaced everything related to the old regime. The old calendar gets replaced by whatever on earth this is. Weeks now have 10 days, each of them being called day 1, day 2, day 3, etc. And it's now year 1 of the revolution. Good luck remembering your friend's birthday now. Robespierre and the Jacobins also wanted to try to make France more secular, turning churches into temples of reason. Robespierre also believed that anybody who was against the revolution, or maybe just looked like it, was an enemy of the state and deserved to be executed. This period was known as the Reign of Terror. I kind of feel bad for the royal family being executed. You're siding with the monarchy? Send this guy to the guillotine! Man, I miss Sundays. We need a day to rest. Looks like you missed the clergy. No. I just sent him to the guillotine. Yes, I have enough money to buy 5 loaves of bread. Money hoarding noble, guillotine this man. Every single person who was believed to be against the new government would be sent to the guillotine and executed. During the Reign of Terror, around 17,000 people were officially executed, probably more. Marie Antoinette, the Queen of France mentioned earlier, was also executed during this time. Eventually, people got tired with Robespierre executing everyone. What do you want? We've had enough of you executing everyone! What? You're getting tired of my executions? You know, I might execute you next! What if we flip the script and execute you instead? Like that's ever gonna happen? Ironically, Robespierre was sent to the guillotine and got executed. With Robespierre gone, the Jacobin Party and everything they implemented were replaced by the new government, known as the Directory. While they weren't as violent as the Jacobin Party, they still sucked at governing. Anyway, remember how at the same time, France was at war with multiple other nations? Well, France was now starting to win the war, thanks to a general known as Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon helped win multiple battles in Italy and Austria, forcing them to surrender. Because of this, the soldiers and people loved him. He also overthrows the Directory government and becomes the new leader of France. In a few years, Napoleon will crown himself as the Emperor of France and begin rearranging Europe in a numerous amount of wars named after him, the Napoleonic Wars. And that's basically where the revolution ends, beginning with the leaving of the Third Estate creating the National Assembly, and ending with Napoleon crowning himself as Emperor. Thank you so much to everyone who supported me. It took like 4 months, I think, to make this video and a lot of all-nighters. It's 1 in the morning right now. It's always been a dream of mine to make videos, so thank you so much. I'm gonna go sleep now. Good night.